Shalom, as we turn now to Psalm 101. Those of you who have been watching these video commentaries of Psalms will notice that the background is different, and that is because there was a tornado that went through my town of Hamden, right near where I live, yesterday afternoon, and as a result, we have no power. And so I am recording this from my daughter's home in a nearby town. And I'm grateful that I have this place to sit and to do some of these projects like this one and have access to electricity and internet. So I'm feeling a lot of gratitude right now. And I know that the power in our home will eventually be restored. And again, it's a matter of perspective. Some of us have our little problems, and compared to others who have much more serious problems, our issues pale in comparison. So it's a time to, again, connect with gratitude and with a sense of all that we have rather than all that we lack. So here's the Psalm 101. Of David, a psalm. I will sing of faithfulness and justice. I will chant a hymn to you, O Lord. I will study the way of the blameless. When shall I attain it? I will live without blame within my house. I will not set before my eyes anything base. I hate crooked dealing. I will have none of it. Perverse thoughts will be far from me. I will know nothing of evil. He who slanders his friend in secret, I will destroy. I cannot endure the haughty and proud man. My eyes are on the trusty men of the land, to have them at my side. He who follows the way of the blameless shall be in my service. He who deals deceitfully shall not live in my house. He who speaks untruth shall not stand before my eyes. Each morning I will destroy all the wicked of the land, to rid the city of the Lord of all evildoers. Now, it's clear that the psalmist here considers himself to be on a mission. He wants to get rid of bad people. He wants to rid the world of all evildoers. And while that is a perhaps noble cause, it is not necessarily realistic. He is expressing a wish. He is expressing a hope that the evil people around him could be eradicated. He hates crooked dealing. He'll have none of it. He doesn't want to have anything to do with people who are perverse in thought or in deed. He says, I will sing of faithfulness and justice. I will chant a hymn to you, O Lord. And then he says, I will study the way of the blameless, derech tamim. And that term, the way of the blameless, comes in later on in this psalm as well. It's repeated when he says, he who follows the way of the blameless shall be in my service. So he's interested in pursuing righteousness and blamelessness in his life. And an interesting thought comes actually in the second half of verse 2, when the psalmist says, I will live without blame within my house. The point I want to bring out to you now is that while the psalmist reflects on the importance of living a blameless and righteous life on the outside, in the outside world, in the community, and he brings that out in this psalm when he describes the kind of people that he wants to associate with in his social interactions. People who are trusty, people who are upright. Those are the ones he wants to associate with. He wants to live that way in the community. So it might go without saying that if he's going to live that way in the outside world, that he would naturally live that way inside his own home. But he has to emphasize, I shall live without blame within my house. Why is that? Well, take a moment to think about it. Don't we sometimes find ourselves behaving in certain ways towards people outside our own homes and in our communities, whereas in our own homes, we might behave differently with the people with whom we live? Do we sometimes go out of our way in outside society to be kind and thoughtful and considerate, whereas in our own homes, do we sometimes fall short in these directions because we assume that the people with whom we live are going to put up with our breaches of not only social etiquette, but basic human considerateness and kindness and goodness? Do we take people for granted with whom we live? Do we just assume that we can get away with anything with them because we live with them? They know of our foibles and our shortcomings, and they'll put up with us. And we know that all we have to do is apologize, if even that, and they will forgive us quickly and move on. The psalmist, I think, by inference, reminds us that as hard as we try to live righteously and considerately and kindly with people in the world, we have to work equally, if not harder, to behave these ways with the people we live with. They are the people who matter most to us in our lives. They are the people we love in our own homes. They are the people we count upon, and they are the people who count on us the most. So, the lesson here is clear. Try to live blamelessly, uprightly, and righteously on the outside. Try equally, if not even harder, to live that way in our own homes, with the people we live with. Try our very, very best to be models of goodness and uprightness and blamelessness in all our affairs, in all our human interactions, not only on the outside, but in our own homes as well. Finally, a reminder that in Judaism, the principle of Shalom Bayit, peace within the home, is one of the cardinal basic principles of human relationships in our lives. If we can achieve Shalom Bayit, peace within our homes, then we have a much better chance of achieving peaceful relationships with people on the outside in society. And by doing that, we can do our own part to eradicate the evil that surrounds us. Thank you.